Hi y'all, it is Mary and this is video number 2 for me today. It is 7 o'clock p.m. and so we're going to get another video tutorial done. I'm going to just double check here off to the side to be sure that I'm, wrong side sideways and upside right. Oh, it looks good so far. There we go. Yay! All right, did it. We did it. Good job, you guys. We did it. All right, so this card for this evening's video is really quite a bit different from my card earlier today. This is about as close to clean and simple as I do. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Rosie. Thank you very much, Rosie. I appreciate that. Like I said, this is about as clean and simple as I do. You can tell I think it's clean and simple because there's no ribbon anywhere. There's only one little embellishment. So I think I kind of scored on the clean and simple department. So this card uses some Magic in This Night DSP, which happens to be on the DSP sale. So you can get it for $9.78, I think it is, 15% off the normal price through the month of October. And it's got this darling little cat punch. It occurred to me as I was making this that I am on a punch kick this week, apparently. So, and of course I have my envelope, and then on the inside I've got Happy Halloween and another one of the little cutouts in Cajun Craze. The stamp set we used is Hallows Night Magic, and then we just used some basic shape dies. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. As before, I've done some pre-cutting because I just don't think you really want to watch me cut and cut and cut and cut and cut. I think that's kind of boring for you to have to watch me do that. So let's get started. This card will actually be posted. Hey, everybody, appreciate you coming back. Aw, Bree, you're sweet. Thank you so much. So this card will post on Monday on my blog. So all of the card cuts and et cetera, as well as a link to rewatch this video if you happen to be so inspired. I hope you will if that's what makes you happy. All right, so let's see. What I did first, I have a Cajun Craze card base. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored and folded at 5 1/2. And then I cut a piece of basic black at the same size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've embossed it in the really cool, can you see that is embossed in the Cobwebs embossing folder? I love this embossing folder. It's so good. It really makes a really cool image. I kind of hope it sticks around. I know it would really only be good for a few months out of the year, but it's really cool. So I'm going to take some liquid glue, and I am going to adhere it to the front of the card base. Now, let me tell you why I did this. If you have ever, when you want to emboss your card front, if you have ever, stuck the card into the embossing folder and then run it through, works perfectly well. But it does tend to weaken the strands of the paper, right? So your card front can get a little warpy. So the way to fix that is to emboss a separate piece, the exact same size as the card front. I could have even done it in Cajun Craze, and then you would never have really known that I hadn't done that I hadn't just embossed the card front. But I wanted a black card front, so that's what I did. So we're just going to use that liquid glue to put it onto our card front. And then I'm going to open it like that because I want to be sure to look across the bottom here and the sides to be sure that I've lined everything up. And it's pretty close. I can see a little bit there, but that would be splitting hairs to say the least. Okay, so there's our card front. Now I have taken 2 pieces of the Magic in This Night DSP, and I've cut them into a 1 inch by 2 and something or other inch, maybe 2 5/8. Like I said, it'll be on the blog on Monday. And I'm just going to adhere them onto this piece of pumpkin pie cardstock to make a little matted image. For those of you who follow along with challenges, hey Wendy, then you might recognize this as the Freshly Made Sketches Challenge. If you don't, then this is my awesome design. I came up with it all by myself. Okay, so I'm just laying it out just to be sure I kind of know where things are going to go. And then I'm going to take some liquid glue and adhere that to the piece of cardstock. Now, this is totally eyeballing. I'm not measuring it. I'm just eyeballing it so that it looks like it's about even all the way around. And a little gap in the middle. Like I said, that's the challenge for Freshly Made Sketches for this week. And you know, it's interesting. When I was getting this together, you would not have known that I have any sort of an engineering background. This just bamboozled me. I had it so borked up. I had the proportions all wrong. It was crazy. I actually threw away 2 card fronts because I just had them completely borked. Okay, there we go. Now, let's make our decoration. We're going to set that aside for just a second. There's my envelope. We'll get rid of that. And here are all of my pieces of card cut stuff. Let's get going here. So, this is extra. I don't need it. I cut a stitched shape. It's actually the largest of the stitched shapes dies, circle. I cut it out of Very Vanilla, and then I cut the exact same size out of Cajun Craze. So they're going to layer like so. I'm going to cut that cat punch out, and with any luck, I'll get it centered and it'll be all awesome. That's why I cut 2 of them, because, you know, just in case. Here, a little tip. When you're doing something like this where you've already cut your die, it's a little hard to hold it. So it helps if you take a sticky note and stick it to the side, and then you can play with it just a little bit. Now the trick, of course, is to get it sort of centered up there. And it's really kind of an eyeball, and to be quite honest, it's not an easy eyeball because it's a little hard to see where everything's at. But we're gonna let's just see what we get there. Let's see what we get there. And if I don't like it, that's why, see, isn't it a good thing I cut a second one? Yeah. All right, let's try one more time. I've got 2 tries, and then I have to go back to the cutting board. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Mary, wouldn't it be easier to have cut that, to punch it, and then cut it out? And the answer is yes, of course it would have been. But the downside of that is that sometimes you can't get far enough up the cardstock with your punch. Let's see what we got here. We're going to do that if I didn't get it this time. You know what? I'm going to take that for $1. I'll take that for $1. Anyway, sometimes it's a little hard when you have a full piece of cardstock to get the punch far enough up the cardstock that you then have room to cut the die. Does that make sense? So in essence, there's 2 ways to do it. Neither one of them are terribly easy all the time with this, but it's certainly doable. So just give yourself, I know, right, Julie? That's probably true. Let's go with that. So anyway, I'm going to just take some black Stampin' Dimensionals, and I've got the minis here, and I'm going to put them around this image, and I'm sticking one very carefully right there. And I really want it to pop up and stay, so I'm being generous. And in case you haven't figured it out, no, I do not cut mini Stampin' Dimensionals unless I'm really trying to dimensionalize something tiny, and then I do it. But I do it because it's easier on me, not because I think we should. Because I know we're not supporting the dimensional industry. It's bad. You know, I saw it on Bloomberg the other day. Dimensional industry takes huge hit during COVID. Dethridge and et al. Have decided to use the Amy Kunder's method of Stampin' Dimensionalizing. Yeah, so it's not good. If you own stock in dimensionals, you might want to just get rid of them. Thank you, Janice. You're very sweet. Maybe put the Post-it on back. Oh, Patricia, that would have been so much better. Good Lord. I should have read that comment quicker. Yeah. Okay. So now we're just going to line this up with the Cajun Craze circle. And there we have a little popped up kitty. And he's so cute. He's just so stinking cute. Now, this is the largest of the scalloped circle layering dies. This one right here. So this one layers perfectly with the largest stitch shape circle. Isn't that a coinky dink of happiness? I'm just going to adhere this with some liquid glue. Again, you don't need a lot. I'm pretty sure a lot of you were here for earlier, so you know a little dab will do ya. All right, and we're gonna just give that a little push right there. Now, while I wait for that glue to set up a little bit, we'll see if I can somehow manage to miraculously get my sentiment in the middle of this die cut. So I have the There Is Magic in This Night. I really love that sentiment. I don't know why, but I do. And this is actually a stitched rectangle. You know, that whole big die set that's got all of the sort of rectangularly shaped ones. This is the one that sits off by itself and is a little, almost square. It's almost square. It's a little bit shy of square, but it's the one that sits by itself. Okay. So let me get my Blackberry Bliss out. Yes, you should invest in Tombow instead. So again, I will give you this tip just in case there were people who weren't around. Anytime you start with a stamp in a cling stamp, one of the red rubbers, okay? Even if you've used it many times before, if you didn't use it today so that you remember perfectly how every single sentiment is lined up on the stamp, I highly recommend that you do a test stamp on your scrap paper, because the squareness of your sentiment is directly related to how well it is printed and etched on that stamp and how good a job you did putting this sticker on. Okay, so if either of those things are skewed any, then your sentiment's going to be skewed when you stamp it. So better to know that ahead of time. So I'm just using the grid on my grid paper, and I'm kind of eyeballing the bottom of that word magic with one of the lines, so that I'm not so much worried about the up and down because I'll be close enough. What I'm looking at is whether it's straight when I do it. So you can see that word right there is really pretty much straight with that. So I figure if I get this straight over that die, I should be about as straight as I can be. Not much happens in my life that is actually straight, so, you know. Hi, Susan. All right. Oh, you won. Yay. Okay, here we go. Everybody, hold your breath. Hold your mouth just right. Raise your left hands high above your head to channel the straightness. Okay? Next step is hold it down for a beat or 2 or 3 to get a good image, but I'm not rocking. We all know why. And there we go. We'll take it. Whew. Always a moment of anxiety there. Okay. So now I'm going to, you know, all of the dark colors, and particularly the dark colors in red and also tuxedo black, they take a little extra time to dry. So give it a minute. While that's doing that, I'm going to put some of my black Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my card front here. And now normally I don't put my card front on until I have successfully finished and put the inside in right way up, but I'm going to make an exception because, to be honest, I want to line up my sentiment or my kitty punch off of the, I want it to go off of the side. And I'm just not trusting my my engineering today, so I'm gonna kind of help myself out and make it a little easier on my own self. Okay, here we go. All right, I just want to center that, and you'll see it's quite a bit smaller than my usual card fronts, and I did that because I really wanted people to be able to see that cool cobweb embossing. I just really love it a lot. Okay, now I'm going to adhere this, and one of the things that I like to do, if you follow me at all, you know that I like very much to extend elements of the card front off of the card front over the card. So instead of putting it up here like this where it was all confined within the card front, for me, my design person self likes to see that where it goes off of the edge. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this with some liquid glue. And y'all, if you don't have a pair of reverse tweezers, just get them. Trust me on this. They are the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, they're not good with peanut butter on them, but for this purpose, they are really, really handy. They just really have become like a third hand for me. All right, so we're going to put him on there. Make sure he's about as straight as I can get him. Just like that. Okay, now, next up, is going to be my sentiment. Now, on my sample, I ended up putting the sentiment so that it almost lined up with the corner of the card. And this may happen again. I would like to tell you that was planned, but it totally wasn't. So I'm going to unplan that on this one. I want it right here, and I'm going to take it, I'm going to do another little, it's not an overlap, it would be like an offlap. How about that? It's an offlap. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I did a double stack of dimensionals out here, so I'm going to do that again because this is quite thick. You've got dimensional and you've got 3 layers of cardstock there, so it'll take a 2 stack quite easily. All right, and by 2 stack I mean you put one on, you take that one's cover off, and then you stick another one on top. Okay, just like that. And we'll do 2 of those. She says, trying to get the cover off. There you go. And we'll just make sure that everything is where it will work. Yep, sure enough. Okay, take these covers off. Put a little bit of liquid glue on this corner here. And we're gonna go like that. So I like this better than my sample, except I want that straight. Be straight. There. Okay. So do you see the slight difference? It's really quite slight, but you can see the difference. This one is lined up with the card front, which is fine. I like it just fine, but I like this one better where it hangs off the edge. So that's just kind of me. Okay, so let's close that up. And then I'm going to take one of these iridescent pearls. Now, if you look at these, you'll see that some have, when you look at them, they've got a more greeny tint, and then some that have a purpley tint. So I am grabbing one that has a purpley tint. Purpley is a word, I'm certain of it. If it isn't, it should be. If irregardless can be a word, then purpley certainly should be. Now I'm going to show you another little trick, because I want a little more support right there. So I'm going to take another dimensional. I'm going to stack a dimensional on it, and then I'm going to attach it. I'm going to pick it with one corner of my tweezers, and I'm just going to slide it under like that. And that way I have it all ready to go. And that's the card front. That's all there is to it. So easy peasy. Okay, now for the inside, I'm going to stamp Happy Halloween. Just so you know, this is probably my last Halloween card for 2020. We're getting to where it's time to just get past it. It's time to be over it. And let's see, where was my lineup? Nope. We'll go right here. Now, when you're lining up, so why am I not in the corner? I'll tell you why I'm not in the corner. Because I have my foam pad in here. And the foam pad is for use with photopolymer sets, right? But I'm too lazy, let's just call it what it is. I'm too lazy to take it out and put it in, and take it out and put it in. So when I'm using a cling stamp like this, and I have my foam pad, then I put my cardstock out on the edge, because then I don't have the corner to deal with it. You can get kind of boggered up. There's too much thickness there. So what I do is I line it up on my grid paper. Then I put my magnets. That way, if it happens to move, I know that the top is shoved to the top, and then this line is my left side. Okay? Easy peasy. Easy and also peasy. Purpley is a word. Thank you, Karen. My tweezers are EK Tools. They're called reverse tweezers. That is their name. They are reverse tweezers. And they're reverse tweezers because regular tweezers, like, you know, the kind, if I was an eyebrow plucker person, then I would use regular tweezers. When you push them, they close, and when you unpush them, they release. This is opposite. When it is not being held open, it's closed. So when you push it, the little prongs open and close like that. Okay, so it's reverse of regular tweezers. Why are these helpful? You know those double linen bows that I make so much? This acts like a third hand. So I can wrap my bow, get everything twisted up, and then I can hold the center like that and set it just like that and tie around the bow to hold it still. These are the best thing I ever bought right here. Best thing ever. Okay, I can't really say that. The best thing under $8 on Amazon that I've ever bought. There we go. All right, so now we're just gonna stamp Happy Halloween. I'm gonna do it again because I have a Stamparatus and so I can, just to get a little bit darker image like that. Okay, now we'll close Blackberry Bliss. Do y'all have problems with these dark colors like I do? I mean, it's like wearing a white t-shirt for me. I just can't, I can't do it. And I'm gonna clean this up because I have it all over the place all the time if I do that. All right, so we'll get that out. Now, what I did, although I didn't do it ahead of time, let me see if hang on, I'm trying to find a smaller piece. There we go. There we go. Okay, so for the inside, I'm gonna cut another cat punch out of Cajun Craze, like so. And I'm gonna have him just peeking up in this corner, like right there. Okay, so I'm gonna adhere him with some liquid glue, like that. And you can have him peeking as high or as low as you like. It's your card. You can do what you like with it. And then I'm just gonna trim the extra kitty. Just cut his bottom half right off. And there you go. Okay. Now we'll adhere him to a pumpkin pie mat. And then I'm going to show you what I did on the card front. So you guys know me, I don't do unnaked card envelopes. So when I'm making a card, I'm actually thinking about what needs to go on the envelope. So right now I want this kitty on the envelope, but we don't have a kitty stamp. So let me show you what I did. I took a piece of Cajun Craze and I adhered it to an adhesive sheet, and I'm going to cut this kitty right out again, just like this. And I'm going to adhere him. Now I have a kitty sticker for the front of my envelope. So it's got adhesive from one end to the other, stem to stern, top to bottom, which means he ought to be pretty well stuck on there. So I feel pretty comfortable putting this on the front of an envelope. I would feel less comfortable taking like this piece that I had and using liquid glue. I don't know why, but for some reason this seems like it's more completely hooked down, adhered. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if any of you work for the post office and know that that's ridiculous, then you know. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to finish this envelope since I've got it, and then we'll put the inner liner into the card, and we'll be done. We'll be done, Skye. Have you guys had a good time today? I hope. Oh, that's not big enough. What a dork. What a dork. Okay, I found a bigger one. Okay, here we go. I hope you've had a good time. And I hope that you will remember, I'm not sure exactly, I think this event page will be open for a really long time, which means you can come back and find those all of these videos to watch at your leisure. And of course mine will be on my blog post and in my YouTube channel, so you can always go back and look at them there. Okie dokie. Okie dokie jokey. There's that. And we'll go ahead and put this on the inside of the card, and then we'll be done. I had a momentary little pang there because the card didn't want to open right away, and I thought, oh my goodness, you did it. You put it on upside down. But I didn't. I didn't. It was just what I thought I did, but I done did. I didn't do it. Okay, and here we go. Just like that. And I actually kind of look like that sort of gives you the illusion that I've punched that right out of the bottom of that piece of cardstock by using the same color as the card base. Totally didn't plan it that way. I just got lucky. But you know what they say? Better lucky than good any day of the week. Now, if you really wanted to, and you could, because why not? There's no rule, and if there is, it's a stupid one that says you can't have a pearl on the inside. I think a pearl on the inside is highly appropriate. There we go. What do you think? Do you like? I mean, you know, people have, the jury is out for a lot of people about Halloween cards, but I just think it's kind of fun. So there you go. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you putting up with me twice today. And we have Linda coming up next to, as she said at her video, she is the cleanup pitcher. And she'll finish you off for the day with her last video. And then we'll be done at 9 o'clock tonight. So I appreciate it. Hope you've had a great day. Happy World Card Making Day. Thanks. Bye-bye.